was never a question. Like ever since I was little, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it when I'm older because I grew up around it. And I think he was hesitant at first, and so is my mom, because it is dangerous and it is a male-dominant sport. But I think once they saw that I was good at it and I was having fun and I was being safe, they really encouraged it, and yeah. I started racing when I was about 8 years old. I started off in go-karts. I had a Rotax Mini Max, a Cadet Comer 80, and then a Rotax Max.
Who taught you? Like, did you have your dad? Was it a coach?
Mostly my dad. We would go like pretty much every day after school to the go-kart track. He would like throw rocks at me to go faster. He would stand like on the apex and be like, okay, you need to scrape my toe with the go-kart. I remember him like running like all around the track, going from apex to apex, and yeah, it was like one of the best like memories I have growing up is like at the go-kart track with my parents. So I grew up racing. I grew up like watching my dad race and watching people like Mike Monsalvi race, and now I'm grown up and I'm racing alongside them, which is kind of crazy. So I also coach little kids starting off in go-karting. Pretty interesting. They're like 5 years old and they go like from their mom's arms to like the go-kart, and then they start driving. They're looking up everywhere and I'm like, hey, focus. It's crazy because they learn so quick at that young of an age. Like that's why they say like it's easier for kids to learn different languages, but that applies to racing too. Like if you put a grown man in a go-kart, they're gonna be lost. But if you put a kid in, give them like a day and they'll be pretty good. You can start like 5 years old in a go-kart. If you don't want to go the off-road route, you can do like Spec Miata with NASA or Spec Boxster with POC. That's kind of what I see here in SoCal. I don't know on the East Coast or internationally what they do. And then from racing POC or NASA, so like club racing, you can go into like more professional racing like SRO or IMSA or factory racing. You can do like the Porsche Cup. I always want to get better, you know, and there's always room for improvement, and especially in racing. Like there's always somebody that's going faster than you and you want to get faster. And with me doing engineering, I've kind of seen a different side to motorsport from like an engineering perspective, and that's cool because it's a whole different dimension, and then I'm learning more about it than I ever thought I could know about it, and it's helping me as a driver and also as an engineer. I want to pursue aerospace engineering, not motorsports engineering, because I can't see myself helping somebody else race, and like if I had to work a race weekend and not race, that'd be like hell for me. So I'd rather be working on something else that I also have a passion for, and then keep racing as like my hobby. And if it could turn into like a professional thing, that'd be great, but it's so hard, you know, with money and stuff like that. I've realized a lot of the people I race with are engineers like me, so it's nice because I get to ask them questions and like I can network, and everyone's really nice and always gives me advice, but at the same time, like you don't want to take advantage of that, and you know, we're there to race and have fun and not talk about work. So I try to like keep it to racing. When I'm racing, I don't really think about anything else. I'm kind of like focused in on what's happening. I don't have to worry about anything else. I just focus on driving and having fun. Especially with this car, the 996, like we really dialed it into like how I want to drive it. I really felt connected with that car, but it had a lot of issues because we kind of put parts of other cars onto it, so it's kind of like a Frankenstein build. I'm gonna move up to the Cup car, so we'll see how that pans out, but I've driven it before and that car is amazing. It's a factory built race car. So I began racing in Boxster Spec, so that's a spec class. Every car is exactly the same. Well, between like 190 to 200 horsepower. So that really helped, and it helped teach me how to carry momentum, because you can't depend on torque. You have to like drive the car and you have to carry the speed through the turns. And then I advanced up to the GT4 class. Since I had the skill set of like carrying momentum, I was able to be pretty fast in that car. This next season I'm gonna do GT3 in a 997.1 Cup car. It'll be challenging, but I'm really excited. So my style of driving probably began with my dad coaching me. Drives how he feels, and he's a very aggressive driver, so his method of driving is like late brake, back on the gas, just go, 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 like no brakes, just go as fast as you can. Like push the car to the breaking point. As time progressed, it kind of got to the point where he was too busy to like help me out and coach me, so he hired somebody else to help me out. And his approach was way opposite of my dad. He was more like carry momentum, coast, trail brake, you know, glide through the turn and all these things. So I had to like relearn a new style of driving, but now I can do both. So I'm pretty adaptive, and I think that's what kind of helps me. Like I've had to jump from Boxster to the GT4 to the Cup car, and I drive kind of whatever car my dad builds. And I'm short, so like I have to like, you know, find my way into every car. My dad loved racing and loved cars, and he made a career out of his like passion, which I admire a lot. I also like Michelle Mouton. She was a Group B rally driver, and she was badass. Yeah, she just dominated, and I really look up to her. Yeah, so this car has like double the horsepower and double the torque of any other car. It's also like the first new car I've ever tried. It has carbon ceramic brakes, it has a fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher. Because it's so cool. I don't know. I just like it. I've always wanted a car with a fire. Like ever since I've seen the GT4 RS with the fire extinguisher, I was like, I want that in my car. Because I know that if my car caught on fire, I'd probably just run or something. But like, it's just the thought of having it. And then the red tick mark in the middle, like the 12 o'clock tick mark. No, yeah, I just like it because it's kind of like a classy, understated look. Brake calipers are black, and then the wheels are black. So it's like stealthy, and they're carbon ceramics, and usually carbon ceramics are yellow. And then I think it looks good with the chalk. They have the bucket seats, which I really wanted bucket seats, and then the red deviated stitching, Alcantara, carbon fiber. Yeah, it's just, I mean, what more do you want? Yeah, I mean, we actually got to build it, you know, online, so it was really cool to like see it in person. It's very forgiving. Like if you stall, which I've never stalled, you just press on the clutch and the car just starts right back up. And then it has an auto blip feature, which I never use either because, yeah. And then you can turn the exhaust sound on and off. It's not as loud as I'd like it to be, but it's good enough, I guess, for a daily driver. How do I feel driving the car? Happy. Oh, and safe. Like, I feel like I can work my way around any situation that happens on the road. Whereas, like, I had to drive a Cayman for a few days and I was like, okay, I can't stop on a dime like I can with this car. Between the race car and the GT4. Yeah, and then the race car is sequential. Still have to heel toe on the downshift, so I still heel toe like when I'm driving on the street. I just can't not do it. They both handle amazing. The race car is a lot more stiffer, I'd say, so it's a lot more bumpier and you can feel everything going on around you. Everyone who talks to me about it, they like it. Their main concerns are like the gear ratios and the sound. Those are the two main things that I hear like bad about it. People don't like the color. They call it cement gray. It's like an ongoing joke with my friends. I mean, it's pretty perfect the way it is. The only thing I've done is put wing risers on it, and that's more for like aesthetic purposes. And then I'd like to put an exhaust on it, and then maybe in the future there's a tune, maybe I'll do that. But as of now, I'm really happy with how it is, and I wouldn't want to change it because I don't think I can do better than Porsche. So yeah. I'd like to pursue racing further, like as a professional career, but like I said, it's kind of hard to do that, especially if you don't have the budget for it. You have to kind of market yourself and like brand yourself, and I'm not really the type of person to be like, hey, look at me, like I'm a race car driver and I want your money. Like, you know, that's just not me as a person. I'd like to go into SRO or maybe IMSA. Honestly, I'm really open to anything at this point, but because it is so like wishy-washy and one season you could have a seat, next season you don't, that's why I'm focusing on like my aerospace engineering stuff. But in the future, I definitely want to try professional racing just because I feel like I owe it to myself to see like how comparable I am to other professional racing drivers. Don't let the fact that you're a girl keep you from trying to race or drive. Just look at yourself as a human racing with other humans because there is no difference. You just got to jump into it and do it.